Hello, my name is Satori Pansare and I'm a counselor with Bhatawdekars Clinic.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sujay Prabhugaonkar and I'm a psychiatrist with Bhatawdekars Clinic.
So today we're in conversation with Dr. Sujay to know about his life as an athlete and some inputs as a psychiatrist as well. So Dr. Sujay, I believe you've been running marathons for a very long time now. Can you
Yes.
tell us about your experience as an athlete? What got you into it and what are the kind of activities you've been doing?
Running is I'm very passionate about running and I love it as a hobby. And basically, I believe in practicing what I preach. So many of my patients, I tell them to work out and do exercise. And exercise is really beneficial for the health, for all of our health. And since I advise them, I make sure I also follow that advice. So running is something I'm very passionate about, and I do it religiously. I've been participating in running since say around 6 years in distance running for 6 years, and I've run four full marathons and many half marathons. So my experience in running is very memorable. Of course, since I'm into it, it's very pleasant for me, and I would like to definitely describe about it. So if you ask me as a person, like what is a superpower as a human being? So I would say a superpower as a human being is distance running, because animals can run fast, but they cannot run for long. No, we human beings are the only animals, who can run for long, and that's our superpower. So evolutionarily, we are born to run. So based on that, we won't go into the evolutionary details, but running actually helps in a lot of things. Like the basic thing is increasing our stamina. So our physical endurance increases, and we can our immunity boosts up. That gives us to boosting of our immunity, and not only our physical health but mental health also improves. Now there's something known as runner's high. When we run for long hours, there reaches a point where actually we feel very pleasant. We are in the zone where the world just ends and we are just focused in the moment. And that moment actually, that is known as the runner's high, where actually we don't feel any physical tiredness, but we feel a slight sort of elation. And that is because uh, of the brain endorphins and endocannabinoids, which actually take us to that high, and we don't feel any pain at that moment. We are just in the zone. Yeah. So when we persist to that runner's high, and we are just like flying in the air. Many people describe it in different ways. Sometimes the runner's high lasts for a very long time, and we are just in the zone. But eventually it comes down. So eventually, when what happens is when we reach the finish line, there comes a point where people are really tired, or after a certain distance, people are really tired. You just cannot push yourself. Your reserves just go down. So that time, the mental strength is very important. That time is important to tolerate the boredom, to tolerate our own company, and to just pull on. And if you are resilient, if you are able to do that, if you are able to stick on and persist, then actually that improves the mental resilience also, and that actually boosts our physical and mental energy both. And that's why I feel running is a very good sport and very good hobby to
It's
pursue.
really inspiring that you practice what you preach and you really experienced this. So that is comes, I believe, with a lot of practice and a lot of persistence and resilience, like you said, right? So you did touch upon how your brain functions in that runner state and how eventually it crashes. But I'm sure that as a doctor, you could also give us some input in terms of what kind of preparation you require to train your body and mind before and after, so that people can take the right precautions and endure that entire time.
Right. So exercise is not a rocket science. Anybody can do exercise. It's not a and for running, it's anybody can run. Even a child can run. So running doesn't require a particular skill. It only requires discipline. You have to make sure that you run regularly. So you have to decide a particular time, particular place. If there's a park, if there's a stadium where you can run, if there's a running ground, Olympics running ground, anything. So anything goes. So even you can just go out and run on the open roads, provided you have to see the cars and all. So anywhere you can run. So there's no special gadgets that you need, no special place that you need. You just have to go out and run. Now, eventually, what you have to do is you have to build up your stamina. So first focus is to building up your stamina. So you have to, with time, increase the distance that you run. So initially you may get tired just by running 500 meters or just by running 1 kilometers. So with time, the stamina increases. And as stamina increases, that is the first thing that we have to focus on. Later, we have to focus on increasing the strength of the muscles, because eventually it may happen that the person may get some injury. Common running injuries are plantar fasciitis and tibial problems and no, the many other running injuries are common, especially involving knees and ankles. So if you build up strength, those injuries can be avoided. So strength training is also equally important as much as stamina building or endurance building. So here we are talking about running, but it's true for any other exercise that a person would like to pursue. Like for example, if a person is going to gym, he can focus on both cardio as well as strength training. So it goes hand in hand.
So I see that one thing that you mentioned is, when there is a will, there is a way. That it doesn't matter, don't need any fancy gadgets, but when you really have the heart, you will find a way to do it. And it's a step by step process where that stamina builds, right? And you have to maintain a balance in the kind of exercises you do, because each has its own pros and cons, and you have to build the entire thing. But you've been doing it with so much discipline, with a busy practice as a doctor and other responsibilities. How did you manage training and fitting that in your routine?
So sometimes there is no time to run. Sometimes there is no time to work out. Work goes on till late. But then you have to inculcate it in your daily life. It's a part of work-life balance. Now, suppose if there's no special time where we can run or we can find time in our packed schedule, maybe what you can do is simply taking the stairs up your house, or while going to work, we can walk a particular distance and then go to work. In our way of working, I'm a doctor. I work in my clinic. So in my clinic, I've kept a few dumbbells, and sometimes I do when in between appointments, I take a break and I do push-ups. So that helps. After the patients are done, I do my core exercises. So in my day-to-day schedule, only I make sure that I do somewhat or the other. I make sure that my run fits in or my exercise fits in, but I also devote good amount of time for running because that's my passion. And if I'm not happy, I mean, if I'm not well rested, how can I treat my patients better? So I take out time, and of course, along with however busy you are, work-life balance cannot be neglected. So we have to take out time.
So self-care is indeed an important part of being a helping professional, and that's something that you're taking active care of. Finally, now that you mentioned that you practice what you preach, as a psychiatrist especially, is there any connection between exercise and mental health that you can highlight upon?
Exercise is very important not only for the body but also for the mind. you know uh, the exercise actually gives rise to, of course, good physical health, but also good mental health also. It has been known to increase the neurons in the brain. So it is responsible for neurogenesis. Especially the workout known as aerobic exercise is important for the neurogenesis or the neuron or building of the neurons. New neuronal growth happens. And in any form of psychiatric disorder or any form of any stress or otherwise a patient is going through many things, exercise can be recommended. Maybe not that heavy exercise. If the person is actually depressed, giving advice about exercise may sound, unless the patient is better, it's difficult for him to inculcate exercise in his daily practice. But eventually, it's good to build up exercise as a daily habit so that the person gets better and improves faster. Now, stress is nothing but fight or flight reaction. We are When there is stress, our mind runs a lot, and our adrenaline builds up in the body, and cortisol builds up. And that time, the mind runs like hell, and our body is inactive. But when we work out, when we exercise, our body is active. So once our body is active, our mind calms down. So that is a philosophy behind exercise. So it actually the stress is makes us move or do something. But when we do exercise, actually we are working out and actually we are calming ourselves down. So it's the best form of activity to inculcate in our daily lives.
So that's really lovely, and that really goes to show us how the mind and body is one entity, and you're really practicing that. So, having said all of this now, would you have any last take home message for us?
Sure. exercise is the best but least tried antidepressant. If exercise would be in a pill, all of us would take it. If the mind is stressed, use body as a stress buster. And that is the best thing I could say.
So you really summarized it for us, and that's it. So use your body as a stress buster when you get stressed, and stay happy and healthy. If you like this content and would like to see more, please subscribe to our channel.